Smells like Home Depot out here.
Kind of.
Yeah, I can smell like the adhesive for some sort of like pipe stuff.
I just did mask laundry, so all I can smell is like the laundry from the laundry detergent from my mask.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, a little bit.
It's Saturday morning, and the weather is supposed to be really, really good today. So what that means is we're not just going to sit inside, we're going to go outside. But the government has asked us not to leave Tokyo-to. So we're going to stay within that, and we're going to go and check out a coup. We haven't gone on a coup. That doesn't sound right. We haven't visited a coup in a while. Gosh, I think even since 2019, so that is pretty surprising. We are going to head, or actually we're standing in, I should say, Katsushika coup. And our first stop is going to be Kanamachi, the other end of this line or this train. It's only 2 stations away. This train is tiny. It is...
Wait, this whole line is only 2 stations?
I guess.
What? No.
Could be.
What?
Don't know. But it says it's going to Kanamachi. And I thought it was moving, and I was like, we're not on it. Yeah, so we're going to Kanamachi for breakfast. We are in Katsushika-ku, and we are going to visit this coup today.
Those of you who don't know what a coup is, it's basically a ward or just a neighborhood, a section of Tokyo, of which there are 23 of, right?
Yes.
I've got that right?
Thus far, we've visited 4. This is our 5th.
Well, we visited a lot
visit.
of them, but we've filmed it for 4 of them, 5 of them, something like that.
4 of them before. This is the 5th one.
And I've never heard of this one before. Like I've never even heard this word before, and it's really not that far from where we live. So I don't expect there to be a whole lot. Is that a good estimation?
I think you can definitely say that this is one of the farthest, this coup is one of the farthest from the epicenter of Tokyo. It's very residential. There's a few odds and ends that I've found here that we're going to go and visit, and hopefully we find some interesting things in between.
I don't think this is going to be the kind of place you're going to see on a whole lot of tourist maps and stuff, so I don't know. It's kind of, to me, that's interesting.
Yes.
But it's certainly not going to be Shibuya.
The reason that I chose it is because it's Katsushika. And I was like, all right.
You gonna eat a deer steak or something?
A deer steak, like katsu is the type of food, and it's like deep fried
stuff.
Pork.
Yeah.
And then shika means deer. The kanjis for both of these do not actually mean that, but when you read it literally, you can read it as Katsushika. So, kind of an interesting place, eye-catching in the name.
We still have 3 minutes. What are we in? We're in the countryside, man.
Still got 3 minutes? Yeah. They got double seats right here, so I think that's a good sign. So I'll show you. How many stops does it have?
It literally only has 2 stops in this entire line. This line has 2 stations, well, 3 stations, including the one we're at.
Yeah.
But
It
there's
will
gonna
go
be
2
a stop,
stations.
and then we're there. You'd have a real hard time fucking this one up, like getting off at the wrong place.
We fucked up the other one.
Yeah, we did. We got off at the wrong train
that
earlier.
we took to get here, we got off too soon. So, yeah, you're not always so good at trains, even if you live in Tokyo.
We've got some breakfast, and we'll be showing you the breakfast in just a moment. We're on our way to a park to have it because it's an outdoor breakfast because it was a takeaway only place, and I need to get a drink. So it's not hard to find a vending machine. You walk up past about like 20 of them every 5 minutes, and luckily it is still winter time. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of works out. I'm cold is really what I'm getting to, but the good thing about these is that I've got a hot drink in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw about $1. It's 110 yen, a little over $1 in here, and I'm gonna get myself a hot honey lemon drink, which is pretty nice on the hands at the moment, and hopefully it'll be good in my face in another moment. Warm me up a bit. No, but like for serious, that's the vending machine I just bought things at, and then there's a vending machine, and then there's another vending machine, and then there's another vending machine. This is not a vending machine.
Nope, but I have food.
So in a sense, you kind
Vending
of are delivering. Look around the corner. Anymore? Or are we in some sort of desert now?
Konbini. They were like, we don't have any vending machines within a radius of six feet, because they definitely talk in feet here. And we're gonna have to put in a convenience store because people just can't be bothered to walk around the corner to get a drink. Right, we gotta get in there.
Officially, after seeing the place that we went and grabbed our breakfast, I am jealous of not having this near where we live.
Yeah, I kind of feel like what we've found is the the equivalent of a McGriddle. I don't know how to explain like the Egg McMuffin at McDonald's. Like when you think about like Japanese breakfast on the go, like this is definitely what I would see in my head. Like they just grab a big maki and or like sushi roll and just go on their way.
So basically the place is like a takeaway sushi stand, and I'm not sure if they do more traditional like fish-based sushi at other times, but for breakfast, which is what we're having right now, they had a lot of things that were like deep fried shrimp or deep fried pork or beef. A lot of those things that you'd see at like a kaiten sushi place in Japan, and you're like, is that real sushi? Is that, you know what I mean? But it's like for kids almost, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're using a lot. They had a lot that were like vegetable based and things like that, which reminds me of when we were in Shikoku and we had inaka sushi at that one place, and it was just nothing but nothing but
Inaka
vegetables.
sushi was basically like no fish, no meat, just vegetables on top of rice. It was really cool.
And they definitely
novel.
had things in there that were similar to that. So we got 3 different ones, and you got a ebikatsu, right?
I'm putting the katsu in Katsushika.
Oh, that's why you got
why
that.
I got
I was
this.
surprised because you usually don't like fried ebi.
Well, there were other restaurants that show in this area, at least one in specific, where you can get like a hamburger, and then they put a fried ebikatsu like right next to it, like sitting up vertically, and it's super tall. I don't know where that's located, but yeah, I thought, oh well, I can get ebikatsu here.
I don't remember what I got. I got wasabi.
You got miso wasabi.
Miso wasabi.
And then you also got tori kara. So
like a karage one.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the thing. So this looks like I'm getting into the miso wasabi.
Yes.
And to the ward we're in that I don't know the name of.
Have you not learned it yet?
No. Katsushika.
Shika. So we're gonna
is it? Oh, okay. I thought there was another.
We've
chunk.
got to find the shika.
Okay, we got to find a sheep. I was gonna say like a woodland sheep. No, they're called deer, Eric. All right.
I don't know about the flavor of yours, but the flavor of mine, I could see you being even more jealous that you don't have this near you.
Am I not allowed to have a piece of yours? Are you serious? She cut it up into a bunch of pieces.
I know.
No, mine was good too. It's really good. I would say the wasabi flavor isn't like overwhelming or anything, and I was wondering how that was gonna go. But no, I mean, it's mild and it tastes fresh and it tastes like vegetable-y stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not, yeah, I don't know. It's very, very good.
And
I'm gonna
each
try
roll was about 400 yen, which I would say is more expensive than your traditional McDonald's breakfast. But
So I think that this might be a little bit better than your traditional McDonald's breakfast. So this is the karage, so like a fried chicken. And it looks like they've put a sauce in there as well with it. And the thing with this is, like, when you eat this, do you just jam the whole thing in your mouth?
I do 2 bites.
You do 2 bites, but my mouth is like...
It's hard to get past the maki, the sushi on the outside. That can be hard to break. This is interesting to watch.
The sushi on the outside?
I would definitely put that on video.
Okay. You called the seaweed sushi.
Yeah, the seaweed is sushi.
It's good. I mean, it's really like.
Can I have that bite?
It tastes very.
Wow, it was really big.
It just tastes really well made. You know what I mean? Like, it just tastes really well rounded, and like the ingredients are really high quality. That's what it feels like. Yeah, so I am, like I said before I had any, I'm jealous that this isn't like next door to where we live, because if it was, this would be breakfast on the regular for sure. Here's a bit of the behind the scenes info. We were sitting over here and we were filming because there's some shade there and it just makes things easier to expose for the camera and makes things look nice. But yo, it's cold outside right now. So now that we're done filming, we're walking over to a bench where we can sit in the sunshine. Katie was like shivering when we were filming, and she's like, as soon as I hit the record button off, like turned it off, she was like, so we're going to find some sun. So we're now finding some sun.
This ought to be good. How low can you go? How low can you go? Not that low. Oh no.
Come on, you got it.
I'm a Hermes. Gotta practice my limbo. We've walked like less than 2 minutes. There was a limbo challenge, and then we ended up next to this little shop, and all they do is Nikomon. And if you know me, I like Nikomon a lot, and I want to try all the Nikomons that I can. But I don't particularly like the generic ones that you can get at convenience stores. They either need to be limited edition at the convenience store, or they need to be at a shop that all that shop does is Nikomon.
And this is like, he only seemed to have one flavor, right?
One flavor, one price, that's it. I think there were 2 sizes. Wow. I've actually never seen the Nikomon come off the paper like that. It doesn't normally do that. Like
Show me that action again. I don't think I got that.
normally it doesn't come
kinda
off.
sticks to
So
it.
yeah, you'll have like a layer of Nikomon stuck to the bottom there. All right, here we go.
So a Nikomon is like a Chinese bun, kind of. And it is full of this stuff.
Cabbage and pork and onions.
It doesn't look like a juicy one.
Definitely not juicy, but the flavor is good. It feels really like kind of healthy.
This is like the healthiest breakfast we've ever had.
Got it all over my teeth.
That's what eating is. Let me see these. Give me these pearly whites.
You gotta try this. The flavor, the ingredients are incredibly fresh. Their focus is on goodness. Eric, I'm busy right now, okay? Come back later. I'm trying to get a massage from this bench. I'm not joking. Like, apparently this park, it's a really small park. I don't even know if I'd call it a park. I might call it the massage chair area. These little things are here for massaging your back. There's also this contraption over here. That's for like lounging out and stretching. That's pretty good.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm all right with this. At first I thought I was gonna not like it, but it's pretty good. Okay.
Can you demonstrate the third one for us as well? This is
I'll go over to the twisty.
I tried to do this, but my thighs are too like tall. I couldn't twist. See, your knees are almost too tall too. Like you barely
What's this
fit.
for?
Like old ladies and stuff.
I'm average. Everything. Am I doing it right?
You gotta hold your hands in the same place, and you gotta get the twist in your shoulders, I think.
What? Twisting my shoulders?
Yeah. Now go back. You feeling it? You feeling the burn?
No? I feel like I just turned to a friend to have a chat while we were at a table together. And now I'm gonna turn to another friend who's on the other side. Like, what is this? I thought it was gonna help me crack my back, but this isn't helping. So let me do this. Oh, that felt good. There's apparently a lot of children that are about to come into this amazing park, so we should probably let them have fun with all the machines.
Dude, for children, this is a park of disappointment.
Yeah, park of disappointment.
like we said, this area is going to be pretty residential, and there's a lot of housing and stuff. And this is kind of a unique way of looking at the size of a house in Japan that maybe isn't quite as easily digestible from a house that's actually constructed. But you can see this is the foundation of an entire house that they're going to build here. And that is another house that's like right up against it. And the space between them, I'm not going to walk over in there because that's kind of like the front yard in a way. It's like this wide between these two buildings that's going to be space between them. Just like the footprint of this is really not very large at all. And I'm assuming that this area, maybe right here, is a car park?
It's 3x3 Eric's.
Yeah. It's really, really not that big. And of course, you can see this building is like 3 and maybe like has an attic or something at the very top of it. So it's gonna go up probably similarly how all the other buildings around it are going up. But I don't know, I just saw this and I was like, man, that's a lot less room than it feels like these buildings are actually taking up. I just realized that I can actually just walk over on this little road and show you, hopefully fairly easily, the distance between these two buildings. Like, that's that one building, and the other one is going to be right about there. What makes me wonder about that is, like, earthquakes. like, don't they're not going to bonk against each other? Oh, Katie's got a thing.
I found a flower. You should smell it. It's very sweet.
It looks perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody take a deep sniff. Here we go.
What the fuck?
This isn't his usual habitat. Did it say hello?
I don't really know, but I think it ate some of that box.
Konnichiwa. Hello. Is it real?
Yeah. Are you supposed to be out here? Is this what an old bird looks like? Is it old? Because you know, like you see a puppy and you're like, oh, puppies, and then you find an old dog and you learn what old dogs look like, and you're like, oh, you shouldn't expect too much from that dog. And yeah, he thinks that's funny too. And I'm just looking at this bird, and I gotta, like, just the way he's sitting, I really feel this is an old bird. Oh, he's got Tyrannosaurus Rex eyes. We found one of our stopping points, and you might be wondering, like, why isn't your mask off? We're actually at a temple, and at the entrance it says to keep your mask on. So even though there's really no one around us, definitely not within 6 feet, there are people passing by. We're going to keep our masks on to make sure that we follow the rules.
Did you notice on the ground all the markers?
Ah, yes, all the markers are spread out so that people aren't next to each other. There's no one here fighting us to come over to this area. They all seem to be going to the graveyard. So I'm starting to wonder if today is a special day for respecting the dead that we don't know about, which is an interesting
or if it's just
thought.
Nice weather on a Saturday.
Nice weather on a Saturday. Yeah, that's a really good point. Another thing is that the COVID situation, they have a hand washing ritual that typically they do when you come into a shrine, and they have completely cut that off because of the virus as well. So there's some interesting changes happening at temples. But the reason that we came here is this massive bound statue that's standing behind me. I just saw the picture and I was like, what is that? Like, I couldn't even tell what it was when I saw it on the internet. Then I read the story about it. And the story basically says that a person stole a whole bunch of kimono cloth from a cart, and they didn't know who did this. So the person that was trying the case decided to bind up a statue. I don't really know what the reasoning behind binding up the statue was, but upon taking this bound statue into the courtroom, everyone laughed. So this person basically charged everyone with having to, fined them for laughing at court, and said, you have to bring in a cloth. And one person in the group brought a cloth that was known to have been on the cart, thus pulling the suspect out and getting the thief. That person was later arrested, and the bound statue still exists. So this is the statue that they're saying was used in that court battle. I thought it was pretty interesting. And now what people will do is they will come here and they will get a rope from over here and they will tie it onto the statue. And this is to either ward off having your property stolen or to ask for the retrieval of your stolen property to the gods.
It's only 100 yen for one of those ropes. You might want to do it.
To ward them off? Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, I was thinking to myself, nobody's really stolen anything from me in a while that I know of. So maybe we'll solidify that. It's pretty thick rope. It's thicker than I thought it was. And the statue is much bigger than I thought it was. I wonder if they have to make these ropes longer and longer as time goes by. All right, I'm going low. It might be too hard to go around. Wow. It's a big boy. It's a big boy. Eric, I need your help. I can't see it over there.
Seriously? Here, let me hold it, and then you just run around. I think that'll work, right?
Yep. There we go. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, yes, now I can tie a knot. So, I will ward off some theft with that. And an interesting thing, I think this bucket over here is ropes that people have taken off. So thus maybe they came here to ask for their stuff back, and that might represent that they got their items back or justice was served in some sort of way. This is a little bit of an assumption on my part. I just read that. So kind of a very interesting statue, a participatory one, which I don't really feel happens so much anywhere. But this is Japan's ball of twine.
Oh, you're right. So we're still in Tokyo, but we're kind of in the countryside because there's one of these things.
Konnichiwa. Still hanging out in Tokyo, and there's a huge field right here.
Huge?
And it's huge. It's bigger than that house we just saw.
That's true.
And a lady actually tends to this garden, has multiple types of vegetables that come out of it, and she just sells them right on the corner. You could buy broccoli, cauliflower, hot peppers, and
dried daikon skin.
Dried daikon skin, which seemed kind of cool, but I don't really know what I'd do with it. Ooh, I do know what I'd do with it.
Put it in like miso soup.
Put
or
it
something.
in your miso. That could be really cool. You want to try that?
You want to carry it around all day?
I'm okay with it. And I like this lady. Sometimes it's nice to do things just to go, hey, you're doing a cool thing. So I'm going to go buy it.
Okay.
So I walked back over there only to find an empty basket because the man that came up after me bought every single one of the daikon skins. But I looked at her and I was like, do you have any more? And she pulled more out. So I was really happy to find that out. And now I'm really looking forward to having our miso whenever that happens.
I guess that's what we're going to do with it.
Ooh, smell it through the bag, son. Daikon. We've come to Mizumoto Koen, Mizumoto Park, and this is a huge park at the northern bit of Katsushika. I think there's a lot of things to see in here. I'm hoping that we can get into most of them, but we're in the park, we're gonna take a little stroll, and I'm gonna take Eric to something weird that I found on a map. I'm in Saitama.
Oh, really?
You're in Katsushika.
I'm still in Tokyo.
Yeah. Like no joke. I'm fairly certain that's the situation of what just happened.
We keep seeing signs for Saitama Park, so I was like, wait, are we close to Saitama?
We're this close to Saitama.
Now, we were told by the government not to cross prefecture lines.
But I really thought it needed to be demonstrated. I socially distanced in that parking lot over there, so I think it's gonna be all right. I don't think I hurt anyone. I don't feel good about my actions, but they were demonstrating something.
Where are we going? What is this?
Google marked it as a Goldfish Showroom. It's just like, what the hell? Okay, so we'll try and go in there. I don't know if they're going to want us to pay to go into this area, but
Sounds
seems
worth
it.
This is not looking good for the goldfish.
Yeah, they might not have survived.
Like, they need water, right? Okay, here we go. Oh, there's some big boys in here.
They got the big brains. We've reached the showroom. We've gone inside, but we came back out because we saw something about like a survey that was happening. The survey's already happened. It turns out that there are 24 different kinds of fish in here, and people came and voted on which ones they really liked. And the top winner got a total of 34 votes to be number one, a majestic white fish. Anywho, very funny to be voting on goldfish. That's all I wanted to say there. But we're gonna go inside. And what I want to explain about here is that kind of feels like you're not supposed to be in here. Like, it kind of just feels like abandoned, and that any fish that have been left in here are of their own accord and they're gonna have to survive on their own. I don't really know how they'd go about that though.
There is a man.
Honestly, there is a man. We have seen him and kind of verified that it's okay to be in here. But as you walk up and down this aisle here, it shows you the different kinds of fish in each of the pools. Then some of them will show you the top rankings. This is a #1 fish.
This just looks
here.
like your standard basic bitch goldfish to me.
This is the prime of the goldfish.
I mean, but look at this like colorful one. He looks great and he's number 5.
Number 5. Yeah, it's kind of surprising.
So there's a lot of different variations of goldfish that I didn't realize there was that many different variations. But there's your standard goldfish, then there's crazy colored goldfish, there's goldfish with things growing on their face. But this is the one that caught my eye. And in Japanese, who knows what it's called in English, but it's called a choten gan. And what this means to each individual character, this means like the crown of your head, kind of. This means the sky, and this means eyes. And this particular goldfish has got eyes that are like looking up. So I guess probably to like be able to look for predators or whatever. I'm assuming that's why that would be a thing. And he just sort of chills on the bottom and just chills is what he's doing. But I really think that the descriptive name and the fact that he's so unique with his eyes like looking upwards kind of stick out to me as my personal favorite goldfish.
A lot of people might be looking at this going, ah, sakura! No, these are umes. And regardless, it's still amazing to see your first flowers of spring. Umes tend to bloom before sakuras, and you'll always have that, am I looking at umes? Am I looking at sakura? One of the easy ways to show which ones you're looking at is that sakura have a lot more petals and little guys, like little insect fingers coming out from the middle of the flower. There's a lot of other differences, but that's a sure shot on what we're looking at to say you're looking at ume, not at sakura. But Eric had already seen some umes earlier and had sent me some pictures of it, and I thought, oh, I haven't seen them, but this is my first spotting, and they're looking pretty gorgeous. As it gets warmer, we're gonna get more and more. Is this happening in other countries? Like, Japan has a strong park tent culture. Whenever a family decides that it's gonna go to the park, they bring a tent. When I went to the park with like my family or like as a teenager seeing other people's families, tents were not a thing. So it's either that Japan's really into this and has brought about this culture, or that in the last 10 years, tents have really like boasted a new application. And I'm not sure which, but I feel like I'm not in this culture. I don't own a tent. So I'm on this side of the river.
Do you want to have a tent party?
Yeah, somebody invited me to like a park tent situation. I would partake.
Very worldly of you.
Yes.
This is a pretty substantial lake. It is taking us quite a while. I don't know if we're going to walk all the way around it, but we're walking along one side of it. And I mean, we've been walking for like 20 or 30 minutes. It's like to give you a gauge on how big this body of water is, especially seeing as how we're basically in Tokyo still. So it's not like you necessarily will see something like this very often. So it does definitely stick out. And there are quite a few people fishing along the banks. It's kind of like an old dude thing that people in Japan do. Like you go to a reservoir like this or something, and you'll see a bunch of old dudes like chilling and socializing and doing their thing. And we walked past somebody, and we only heard in passing, but I could swear this guy said that they were searching, or they're fishing for koi, which would be like a koi fish, you know? But I didn't know that was, I don't know, I didn't think about it, but I don't, to me there's like really expensive rare fish or something like that. It's not something you would just like fish for and kill when you pull out of a lake. Like to me that sounds insane, but I'm not a fish guy, so maybe I misheard him, or maybe it's just more common than I think it is. But regardless, there's a lot of dudes out here doing it right now in this beautiful weather.
Sometimes when you're shooting stuff, people will be in the background and they're definitely like looking at what you're doing. And in the last shots that we just made, Eric was talking about the fish and the fishermen, and the guys were in the background of the shot and they were looking at the camera, and I totally just thought to myself, maybe they're angry, maybe they're annoyed, maybe they don't want to be on your camera.
Yeah, so like when we set that shot up, none of them were looking at the camera, it was like the back of them, so I felt like it wasn't rude. You know what I mean? But then like they noticed that somebody, like, oh, there's people doing a thing, and then they're looking, and then you're like, oh no, like, are they getting upset or whatever? You're just paranoid about it.
Afterwards, like, we put the camera down and this man came over to us and he was like, hey, I have a present for you. So he gave us some some origami, wow, that he has made himself. What did he said, soba?
Grasshopper. Inago, right? But I don't know if there's another name for them.
Yeah, but he made it by hand and he gave it to us, and I thought that was really nice. Like, it completely took a 180 of what I thought was happening. What I thought was happening they were annoyed that we were there, but really what was happening is they were just intrigued and wanted to be interactive. So sometimes what you're thinking is completely wrong. I saw some cool pictures of these trees, specifically during the fall, but they looked very specifically planted in certain like rows, so it feels like a very man-made forest that we're walking through right now. And not being here during fall is a bit of a bummer, but it's actually a good time for people who don't want leaves on these trees to see birds. And we've picked up that this park is pretty bird specific. We've seen a lot of people with binoculars, people with tripod binoculars. It's a bird area here. It's kind of a very tranquil, picnicky kind of feel. And there's a guy on a laptop on a picnic bench over here. And I kind of really enjoy that. Like, I think about 10 years, 20 years ago when you were getting on the internet and it's like you had to have a cord. This man is in the middle of the forest getting on the internet. And I think that's great.
One of the core features of this particular ward is that it's pretty big. And there are large swaths of it that don't have anything like interesting for us. I mean, people live here, but it's just residential stuff. So we want to get from one point to another of interesting point, and there's a lot of space between them, but there's also no public transportation. Like, there aren't like train stations every 5 feet.
The closest bus station that would take us to where we want to go is an 18-minute walk.
Okay. So what we want is we want a taxi to try to cut that back on this commute that we're about to make, which is like an hour-and-a-half walk. Which, I mean, it's not a terrible walk. It's just we got a lot of we want to do today. You know, we want to see some of this place. So we were like, okay, well, let's find somebody and ask them if there's a taxi stand. And I asked if there's a taxi stand, and the dude was just kind of like, nah, dude, nah.
Let's so do this. Maybe this
we got a bus stop. So now we're just walking down the road, hoping to find a taxi stand, or not a taxi stand, but like a taxi in the wild that doesn't have somebody in it, which we haven't seen very many taxis go by at all. So I'm not sure if we are going to have any success with that. How is it going down there with the sign?
This would only take us back to the station that we started at, and we don't really need that station anymore. And it doesn't look like it's happening. Like this is covering all the times.
Oh yeah, it's canceled. Yes, it's not happening right now.
There. Can't say we didn't try right there. Could just stick up a thumb.
I was gonna say, if it wasn't these troubled times, I would say we could just hitchhike, but I don't know if hitchhiking in the time of Corona is like, that's gonna be a thing that's gonna be a great idea, getting in cars with strangers that don't have the proper like plastic guards and all that stuff. Like,
I get on the train with the strangers.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, there's just something about that vibe that just doesn't feel right.
It's not right about that.
We're down away from the park and in an area where there's like stuff going on. Like this feels like any normal Japanese city-ish town thing that's not like a big city town. It feels like a normal city town.
It
like
feels like any city that doesn't have a taxi.
Yeah, but so there's stuff going on, but there's no taxis, which is peculiar for Tokyo. But that kind of shows that we're kind of not in Tokyo, even though we're inside of Tokyo, you know what I'm saying? We saw one taxi go by and they didn't see us while we were waving at them, so we're not in a taxi and now we're waiting for a bus. So that's how this is gonna roll so far. What are you hoping for, a taxi or a bus first?
I was hoping for a taxi because it's more direct. The bus we will have to transfer and it's going to cost $4.40 per person, which I think that we could probably get the taxi to be somewhat in that ballpark.
But the bus is coming right now.
But the bus is here now.
I need to get my Suica out.
Oh, that's 61. We don't want that.
Oh, okay. I got time.
You got time. You should get your Suica out regardless.
So we're in a much more no place than we were when we started.
Yeah, we got to transfer to another bus. That's what we're doing right now.
Are you seeing this?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
This is Tokyo? Thanks for checking out our video from Katsushika. This is actually part 1. There will be a part 2 coming soon, so if you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed, have the bell ring, all those things so you get notified whenever we put it up. And then since YouTube doesn't really notify people like it's supposed to, also check us out on some of our social media places, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams. We post notifications there when new videos go live so that you can be triple and quadruple reminded that your things are happening because this is how the world works now. I want to also thank all the people on Patreon who support our videos and are exactly the reason why we're able to make videos like this, especially these longer videos that don't tend to do super well on YouTube, but are kind of what we want to make to give people the full experience of exploring places with us. So thanks to everybody over there. It's super appreciated. And we hope that we can keep making videos through those means. So if you want to help us with that, check out Patreon. All that stuff is all linked down below. Like I said, there will be one more video from Katsushika coming, and I think that'll be coming pretty soon. Sometimes there can be gaps between videos, but I've already got that one edited, so I think I'll put it up next, probably. We'll see, but I do maybe have something else coming before that. I don't know my own schedule. Anyways, thanks everybody.
Maybe he thinks the poop is another bird.
We're gonna make an